guys, we're back talking some more Titans Season 3 on the channel. We're up to episode 5 now. After that awesome conclusion to last week's episode, that confrontation between Red Hood and Nightwing, I was very excited to get back into this week's episode. I couldn't wait to see what happens next. However, that does have to wait until next week because 99% of this episode actually is a flashback episode. Isn't to say this episode's a skip, however, because Jason Todd does take center stage in this episode, and we get to figure out what actually happened in that 3-month span between Season 2 and the beginning of Season 3, and what really triggered his transformation from Jason Todd into Red Hood. That's part of why I really enjoyed this episode, because we really haven't delved a whole lot into Jason Todd as a character in Titans so far, and we definitely get down to the nitty-gritty here, and we see a lot of the stuff in his character that we haven't really gotten explored all that much. We kick off the episode showing just how traumatic last season's events were on Jason, with him having this crazy nightmare where Donna shows up. Thankfully, Bruce is there, though, to help him out of this crazy nightmare. I will be honest, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I've never been a big fan of this portrayal of Bruce Wayne Batman in the show. I've never been a big fan of Ian Glenn as this character, but I do think he wasn't that bad in this episode. You can tell through many events throughout this episode that Bruce genuinely does care about Jason Todd and tries to take care of him in his own kind of Batman style of way, which in this instance is grounding him from being Robin and sending him to therapy, which is not what I was expecting. Those therapy sessions didn't feel all that productive, at least at first, but I did end up growing to like them as the episode went on and we get to see more and more different sessions. Of course, Jason starts off very standoffish and he's trying to deflect and ask questions about the therapist, you know, stuff to do with Scarecrow and all the other villains she's kind of encountered in her life. But eventually we do get to peel back some layers as we do try to separate between Jason Todd and Robin, because they are kind of too closely connected at this point, and we're trying to differentiate the two. I think my favorite line of dialogue from all those therapy exchanges is the therapist telling Jason to remind him that just because you're afraid doesn't mean you're broken. I thought that was a really beautiful line to say to him, especially as we've seen so much trauma he's gone through so far. Even if it's brief, I also really enjoyed seeing Jason try and reconnect with his old friends now that he's back in Gotham as they go try and help find this missing kid Diego. It's just such a bummer though to see Jason still continuing to go through all this trauma though, because they go back to this alleyway, confront this bad guy, and he beats him up because Jason just freezes as he starts just having like a PTSD moment. Even if it wasn't a big point of the episode, it was awesome to just see all of the Batman keepsakes from all the villains in his rogues gallery that we see when Jason goes to look through all of his stuff. You see the Scarface puppet from the ventriloquist, Joker cards, Catwoman's goggles and whip, and the big thing is the Scarecrow mask itself. It looks pretty creepy. I feel like we're going to inevitably see Jonathan Crane put that on, but we haven't seen that yet in the series. Once we do finally get to the crux of the episode, why Jason Todd turned his back on Bruce and everyone else in the Titans, it is kind of an emotionally poignant scene. Seeing Bruce take Jason to where his parents died and having this heart-to-heart conversation about how he wants to protect Jason. And to do that, unfortunately, he's not going to allow him to be Robin anymore. But it's not even like he's kicking Jason Todd out of Wayne Manor entirely, like he's just not allowed to be Robin anymore. But of course, Jason takes that to heart. He's extremely upset about it, thinks that he's giving up on him entirely, comparing himself to Dick Grayson like he's done before in the past in the show. And it's just really sad to see because they had such a good relationship, it seemed like, going on, but of course it didn't seem to work out, even though Bruce Wayne actually called him his son. Like, that's how much it seemed like Bruce cared about him and his well-being. That's why it was so frustrating this latter half portion of the episode as we see Jason Todd basically betray everything, going to Arkham Asylum to talk to Jonathan Crane. See that Jason actually stole the fear gas that we saw earlier on in the episode, and he entices Jonathan Crane to kind of reverse engineer this fear gas into a sort of drug that could make him have no fear whatsoever. In exchange, the big caveat is Jason Todd has to reveal all of the secrets that he knows about Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson, the Titans, all that stuff. He has to reveal everything, and he does. Certainly one of the more strange elements of the episode is seeing Jason Todd have this sort of Heisenberg moment from Breaking Bad as he's making all these different concoctions in his little warehouse drug den to make the perfect formula to eliminate his fear. Through that, we do get to see the conversation from the very beginning of the first episode through another lens as we see Jason Todd go on, put the Robin suit on, and go take on the Joker. He still gets murdered. I thought maybe there was a fake out somewhere in there where he doesn't actually get murdered by the Joker, but he still does. He still dies. Things do start to get a little bit more convoluted and confusing in a sense because the title of the episode is, of course, Lazarus, and Jonathan Crane just has this secret Lazarus pit that only he knows the location of, which I have no idea how Scarecrow pulled that off, but he does resurrect Jason Todd as Jonathan Crane is dancing around this lab room to In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by Iron Butterfly. Certainly the most strange scene probably of the entire episode for me. And then we cap off the episode with Jason donning the Red Hood gear. I have no idea how he got the gear. I'm guessing maybe Jonathan Crane helped fund that situation, or it was a joint effort between him and Jason Todd, but he just has the armor. I do still like the suit, I will admit, even if the context of why he got it and how fast he became Red Hood is a little iffy to me. Really, his first order of business becoming the Red Hood, though, is to take on that bad guy, to get revenge on him from earlier, and also to get Diego in the process. The battle that goes on between them, it's just kind of hard to follow because it is like a very strobe effect fight scene, so it is kind of hard to watch just in that sense. I think it would have been a lot better off not having all these crazy strobe lights that hurt my eyes. Nevertheless, though, he kills the bad bad guy and gets Diego, saves him, and gives him back to his friend. They have a little heart-to-heart kind of moment, and then he leaves. I guess that's our origin for why he became the Red Hood in this show. I'm still a little bit iffy about it. I do think there's a lot of potential to grow there, but like I said earlier on in my review for the entire season when the embargo lifted for the first 3 episodes, I still think we could have had another season, or maybe even 2 seasons of Jason Todd building up that and before he becomes Red Hood. It just feels a little fast because he did die and then become Red Hood almost instantaneously within the first couple episodes. I do think this is a solid episode for the growth of Jason Todd. I think he's still an interesting character to follow in this series, so I'm excited to see more of his portrayal of Red Hood in this, and just to get to see the action between him and Nightwing, and see where it ends up going by the end of the season. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. What do you think of the episode 5, Lazarus of season 3 of Titans? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of this portrayal of Red Hood and the origin we get for him in the show? As always, thank you so much for checking my reviews, but I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe button. Keep reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more on the channel. But next time, I'll see you guys later.